Hello there, this is Patricia from Pinky's World. My project this week is a nice little bag using the poinsettia petals and a couple of Velcro straps, and inside there's room for candles. There's actually room for 8. I have 6 in there at the minute. Just thought 6 was generous enough, do you not think so? So I have used some retired papers for this, but the next one I'm going to make in lovely brightly gleaming papers. So it makes a really fancy wee package, I think, and really dolls things up. And you can put sweets or anything in there. So to do the project, you're going to need the brightly gleaming paper or whatever paper you want. And it needs to measure 8 inches by 10.5. And you also need a strip that measures 1 inch by about 11 inches, just a bit wider than your project. So we need to do some scoring. So put it in the 10-inch side. This is only paper, and paper works perfectly for this particular project. And there's no call for a card really, honestly. So put it in on your 10.5 side and score at 3.5 inches. And score at 5 inches. 8.5 inches. And 10 inches. And just turn it around and score it on this side at 1.25 inches. It's at this stage, if you want your bag deeper, you would have to adjust your size here. I'm only having it 1.25, which is perfect for those wee candles. Next one, sorry, that was 1.25, and the next one is 5.75. And that's the scoring done. So we'll, excuse me, we'll cut away the bits that we don't need, which will be, this is going to be our front. This is our front window, so we don't actually need these two. And that's something you could keep for your, I'm losing my words here, for scraps, for making a wee matching card or something. I'm going to score these just hoping that they'll show up better and show you the cutting, because it's hard to see it on the lovely coloured papers. Can't even see my score lines myself. Where is it? That one hasn't scored. I'm on the wrong side. This side's the 1/2 inch. And it should be there somewhere. So it's going to all fold up like so. I've missed one. Goodness, it's so hard. I don't know how you are going to see it. You just take my word for it. So that's going to pop on like so. This is going to be your top. This is your bottom. So we'll cut up our bottoms first. I wonder, is it easier this side or the other side? Yeah, I think you can see it better that side. So chop up all your seams up to that first mark there. You can cut these in ever so slightly. Tee them off. And this one. Come on. And we're just going to take this wee one away. We don't need it. So you can chop it in slightly and then just angle it in there. This one we're not going to need either. So just, let's see, angle it in. And we're taking both these off actually. So cut that up to there. We're going to keep this one. This is our, no, we're not. We're going to keep this one. So cut that one off too. Nice and straight, because that's the front of your bag. The only one we actually need is that front flap. So cut right down. And we're going to keep this section here. So you can see now where our shape is, and this is going to come over the top. So what we need to do is cut our wee window in this front one, and I'm using the tailored tag punch. But if I try to put it up with this bottom flap down, it's obviously not going to make it because there's the crease. So what you need to do is actually fold that up, and don't worry that you're going to lose a wee tiny piece of that. You will be covered by this other piece when you're folding up your bottom, so it really doesn't matter. But you do want to get it, push it in as far as it'll go up and centre it between your design as much as you can. And just take that out. Whoops. And as you can see, you've lost that wee tiny bit, which is no big deal. So we want to add our wee windows now. And for that, you're going to need a piece of acetate that measures 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. Window sheet or acetate, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to use my tape pen, which is a permanent one, so it should hold it well. Make sure that it's well held going round the edges of the punched out area. Get this flipping tape pen to work. So just make sure there is tape on everything and pop this down. Too high. You want to cover all that tape, you don't want any of it left sticking, and if there is any sticking, push it in with your pokey tool. So that gives it a nice colour. You don't want your candles or sweets or whatever you're putting into it catching. So if there is any at the bottom where you've went over, take it off. You could also use turn tape there. So that gives you a nice wee window. So we're going to go ahead now. You want to score this bit. So we know that measures, I can't even see, that should be 2 1/4, is it? Yeah, 2 1/4. So actually just fold it in half yourself. Don't worry about it. I can't be bothered scoring it. Just line it up with that crease there. And press it. We'll give it a good firm press. And then we're going to glue it. Simple as that. And that's going to give us a nice thick now do I want my paper, I'm working this out in my head again, but that's going over there. I want actually a flapper ribbon on the outside. No, I've got myself now. Glue that down the way I was saying. It just gives it a nice firm closure rather than a flimsy one. Because you're using paper, I want to double it up and give it a good nice firm closure. So we can now join these up. So we'll put a bit of glue up here. Or you can use your tape if you're not a glue person. That should all line up nicely. Flop it over. Make sure you're nice and lined up. Looks good. So you're just going to pinch those as the normal thing to do with these type of wee bags. But we want to put our closure on the bottom. So we're going to put our 2 flaps in. You can add a bit of glue just to give them a wee bit of hold. Nothing drastic. Ugh, I'm getting all sticky. Push that down so that's nicely lined up. And then we're going to put this one over the top. So you know you have that wee bit missing, so put your glue onto this one so that you don't get any sticky again on the inside of your box. And just fold it over. And I have got sticky on the end of my box. So now's the time to rub that off. So I've got a wee bit hanging over, so I'm going to give it a trim. Check any this side. I should have trimmed those in, only trimmed the smaller edge, so do that when you're doing your cutting. So that's a nice see-through box, and you can see there's lovely stripes through it because of the double-sided paper. your wee objects will go inside here, and then we're going to have to put a closure on. And the thing I'm using for my closure is these wee hook and loop adhesive dots. Dot and dab you call them. So they're very good and strong. So, oh goodness, I can't find it open. We want, as you can see, this wee flap of ribbon, because I think it helps hold it when you decorate it with your flowers. So you just need about 2 inches of ribbon, just a wee scrap ribbon that you've cut off the end of your roll. The ribbon I'm using is from the Flowers for Every Season, and it's the white linen 1/2 inch ribbon. So we want to attach it underneath your hook and loop. I think I put the rough one to the top, so I might just put this one up this time. So you want to slip that underneath there, and just remember that you're losing part of your sticky, so you need to add a bit of stickiness to help it. So just tap it up there, put a glue dot in, something that you know is going to hold. And we want this in the center of this wee closure. Center would be best. You're going to eyeball it like me. Make sure you haven't got a crooked eye like me. I think that's about right. So in order to get your other wee bit to line up perfectly, it's the fluffy bit. Doesn't want to lose its stickiness here. There's a wee peel off section there. Ugh, there it is. So rather than stick it on here and get it wrong, stick it on to your matching Velcro, and then fold everything where you're happy and press it. And that should work out perfectly for you. See? After a couple of pulls, that won't be just as strong. And if you have smaller ones, go ahead and use them. But for holding candles, I thought you'd need a good wee grip. So how I'm going to decorate it. I totally forgot to put my band on. Totally forgot. That was supposed to go along the bottom, so we'll just forget about it. Doesn't really need it. We're putting this baby here. So I'm going to attach it with some dimensionals, just to hold it off the item and give it a wee bit of a lift. Got carried away in my excitement, but it doesn't really matter about that. I think I only added the ribbon here to this one to break that design up because it was so white. But this one, I don't think it needs it really, to be honest with you. So I have stamped the Merry Christmas out of the Poinsettia petals, and I've also made the flower out of this. So that's a lovely script of a stamp, and it's a really good size. So you could make your matching card now with it. So I'm just going to pop it in the center here, up a wee bit from the bottom, but not up far enough to cover my window. And then the flower, I have gone ahead and done the flower already. Very simple. I stamped it out in Night of Navy ink, and just using your Wink of Stella pen, draw the ink out and colour it. Now there is another wee stamp, this one here, if you want it, and I've showed you the difference. I didn't want to do it in this one, so I could show you. You stamp directly on top of that in the same ink, and that gives it a really deep colour there, if that's what you want to do. So that's an option for you. The leaves are the same. Stamp those out in Garden Green and pull the ink in with my Wink of Stella. So it has a lovely sheen off it, you know. And then we're just going to stick this here onto the front, giving yourself room to get that, and making sure it's in the middle. And I've just used a dimensional again. So that is your box. Fill it up with nice blue candles or sweets or whatever. It really is a nice wee box, and I think I will be making quite a few of those, to be honest with you. Quick and easy, and as I say, we didn't even need that strip. use it on your card to tie in the inside of your box. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll give it a wee go and come and share your mix with us. Catch us all again next week. Bye.